For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. And as for the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was said to you by God? I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He's not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the crowd heard it, they were astonished at his teaching. So there's a whole lot to digest here. First, I'm going to look at Jesus' technique. Now, we said the Sadducees don't believe in angels. What I like about Jesus, he doesn't skip a beat. He doesn't equivocate. He just states about angels like it's a matter of fact because he knows they are. That said, he also acknowledges that the Sadducees only recognize the books of Moses. The Pentateuch, it's basically the first 5 books of the Bible. So who does Jesus quote to make his point? He goes to Exodus 3:6 in this verse 32. He's quoting Moses. So he's using Moses' words to people who acknowledge Moses to prove his point. To prove that physical death is not the end. Now, let's jump to the part that really bothered me for many years. And that's this thing that says, for in the resurrection they never marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. Now, I had a really hard time with this verse. One, I love my wife. 2, my favorite activity happens to be with my wife. Now, while I'll probably still have her companionship in the resurrection, it seems from what he's saying here that number 2 seems like it's off the list. It's not what we do in the resurrection. I don't like that idea. It's not my plan, but I have to remember that God declares, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So I'm learning to just trust in his plan. Good analogy. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to explaining to a caterpillar what life is going to be like as a butterfly? I would imagine that stubborn, ignorant little bug is going to say, oh man, I love walking around on my stubby little legs, eating leaves, and shooting silk out my butt. Ain't nothing ever going to be better than this. I love it. It's great. It's insane to try describing what it would be like to be a butterfly. He can't conceptualize it. He can't understand what a beautiful creature he will be if he dies to himself and becomes exactly what God intended for him. Only if he accepts his destiny by faith and obeys the plan does he become a butterfly. So he can't comprehend in advance. He simply has to trust. And another analogy, it's not nearly equivalent, but think of little children. They can't understand the concept of marital love, but they all understand the affection of a pet. So when a pet dies, the real common question kids will ask, oh, our dog's in heaven? Is my puppy going to be with me in heaven? So I'll give you the answer you can give them. First off, the resurrection. It's not us floating around in heaven in spiritual bodies and just floating around playing harps on clouds. It is a physical renewal of paradise on earth. The earth is renewed. We have physical bodies. It tells us flat out that in the new paradise, the lion will lay down with the lamb. So we know animals are present. So if animals are present, obviously dogs and stuff will be present. So I have no reason to not believe your dog will be there if you want them there. The more important theological answer is if that's what you need to be happy in paradise, then God will provide it. And that's a little bit of a dodge. Because I'm not technically promising that Fido will be there with you. What I promise is that if that's what you need to be happy, then your pet will be with you. But I suspect that in the resurrection, all those things that we think we need to be happy, all those things that are so important to us now, they will be inconsequential. Because our joy will emanate from the presence of the Lord. And we'll want for nothing else. Right. So in these passages, Jesus makes it clear that while we're in the flesh, we have some real, solid, definite obligations. We're bound. We have to be good citizens. Likewise, marriage is a covenant, to death do we part. So while I would say I would feel weird and kind of guilty if I took on another wife, if my wife died, if you really go by Scripture, there's no reason to feel that way. Because marriage is only an earthly commitment. Now that said, of all the earthly commitments, it is by far the most serious. It is the most important that we have while we're still in the flesh. We are obligated to give everything we possibly can to our spouse while we are with them here on earth. But when they pass, we let them go, we turn them over to God, because frankly they're in a better place. And our call at this time is just to keep crawling around like little caterpillars, knowing that one day we will get our wings as well.